Namaste everyone. Welcome to Lessons with Lakshmi. Our topic of discussion today is All the World's a Stage by William Shakespeare. This is actually not a poem, even though it is given in your textbook as a poem. It's not a poem, it's a monologue. Mono means one, log means something expressed in speech is called as a log. Say you know dialogue. Dialogue means two people talking is called as a dialogue. Monologue means a person talking loudly to himself is called as a monologue. Mono means one person is talking. So before we get into the poem, let's read about the poet. William Shakespeare, 1564 to 1616, was an English poet, playwright, and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's prominent dramatist. Very important. Prominent means very important person who has contributed a lot towards playwright. Okay, if you do not have William Shakespeare, I don't think you will have so many figures of speeches. He has brought upon many new words. He has added a dictionary of words to English language. Okay, he is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. Bard means a poet who writes about lyrics, that is songs, or epic verse. Verse means lines. V-E-R-S-E, verse is lines, epic lines he adds. Also a poet who writes about satire in a language called satire. Satire means sarcastically funny. Being funny, writing in a funny way is called. When you read the plays or comedies or tragedies of this poet, you will understand the depth of the language, depth of his language, and the language is so beautiful. If you read some of the websites on Google, you have No Fear Shakespeare, where they have translated each and every line of his language. You will find it fascinating. If you get time, please read Macbeth. That is a beautiful comic tragedy. Okay, so this person is very important person for English literature. This poem is taken from his play called Bard of Avon. Avon is a place where Shakespeare was born and brought up, means born and raised. That is called as a place called Stratford upon Avon. He was raised, so he is called as a Bard of Avon. This poem is taken from his play As You Like It. Here he compares the world to a stage where the drama of human life is enacted. So this monologue is about a character called Jack. Jack, he talks about 7 stages of life. He talks about all these stages and the person what he does at that particular stage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the whole poem first and then I'll go on explaining each and every line. All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths, and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, with good capon lined, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful horse well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. All the world is a stage. That means a poet is comparing the world to a stage. This is a metaphor where he uses the stage as a world. Okay, and all the men and women merely players. Merely players means who are performing their performances. Men and women are merely players. They have their exits and entrances. Now here exits is a metaphor for death and entrances is a metaphor for birth. In the world, how people are born and they die, that is called as a entrance. Being born into the world is compared to that of entrance into the stage, entrance into your performance. Okay, once you exit the stage, you are exiting the world in the form of a death. So this first three lines is a metaphor used by the poet. Here world is given a metaphor as stage, and men and women merely players means they are actors and actresses in this play called life, and they have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Now one person plays many parts in the stage. Same way one man performs many things in a life. For example, a woman or a man can be a father, can be father to somebody, can be a brother to someone, can be a mother, can be son to somebody, so can be a teacher. Like that, one person plays many different parts in his life. So one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. Now he is comparing the age. One person, when he is born, he is an infant, he grows up into a school child, he grows up into a young man, and then he comes to middle age, then old age. Like that, he is comparing 7 ages. What are these 7 ages? We are going to learn in this poem. Okay, at first, what is the first stage of the man or the infant? Infant means a child who is just born is called as an infant. Mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Mewling is the baby sounds or cries the baby makes. For everything that what the baby does, he expresses everything in his cries. If he is hungry, he cries. If he is happy, he cries. Okay, everything. There is only one language for the child to express, that is in the cry. Okay, mewling is the crying sound made by the child, and puking means vomiting in the nurse's arms. Now every time, here nurse does not actually mean a nurse, it can be a mother also. Mother who nurses a child means who looks after the child, who feeds the child. Okay, in the nurse's arms, what is the work of the infant? He keeps on mewling and puking. That is the only job of the infant. That is the first stage. Then what is the next stage? Then the whining schoolboy. What is whining? Complaining. Always complaining. He is not happy. He is regretful of going to school. With his satchel means a bag. Okay, here they have given satchel is a school bag they have given. With satchel and shining morning face means in the early morning he has to go to school. He is all freshed up by the mother. He is washed up nice clean, and he is worn a nice uniform, and then creeping like snail unwillingly to school. How he walks to school? Like snail. Snail means how it walks very very slowly. That is, here the poet wants to say that a child goes to school unwillingly, means he doesn't want to go to school. This is cutting into his playtime. So he doesn't want to learn. He is regretful of going to school. He doesn't want to learn. He doesn't want to give up his freedom. But he is forced to go to school. Okay, creeping like snail. That is why he thinks he wants to be anywhere else other than going to school. So he creeps like a snail, goes very slowly, walks very very slowly to school. That is the second stage. And then the lover. This is the third stage of the 7 ages of life. Okay, and then the lover, sighing like a furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress eyebrow. Now what is he talking about? Then the next stage is lover. He is sighing like a furnace. Sighing like a furnace. Sighing matlab aahe bharna. Sighing means he is yearning, longing for his love's reply. Otherwise, what is he doing? He is sighing. He is looking for the reply in the mistress's eyebrows. for any reaction from her. He looks at her eyebrows for any reaction. If her eyebrows are up, or is she showing any reaction? So he is looking for, and when he is not getting any reply from her, what is he doing? He is singing sad songs because he is not getting any reply from her, and he is longing for a reply and sighing like a furnace. Furnace means the place where it is very very hot and it gives out the what do you say, furnace is very very hot. Okay, hot place, hot oven like type. Okay, it is very very hot, so the lover is also very very hot and he is sighing, longing for his love's reply, and without getting it he is sighing like a furnace. Okay, then we have, then a soldier. Now he is talking about the next stage. What is the next stage? Now he has come above all those teenage love and all those things. Now all that doesn't matter. Now he has grown up from that teenage. Now he is a soldier. He is working, he is fighting for his country, full of strange oaths. What has he taken oath? He has taken an oath that he will give up his life for his country. That is strange oath because whole life is in front of him, but he has dedicated his life to the country. So he has taken an oath upon himself that he is going to fight for the country. And bearded like the pard. Pard is a leopard. Leopard has spots. Okay, leopard has spots. He is not talking about beard. The leopard is having a beard. Okay, it is not that. The leopard has a spot. So the poet is comparing the spots with the beard of the young man. The young man is having spots in his beard. That means he is just developing the beard, and it is not even a full beard. There are still spots in his beard. He has reached only that age. Jealous in honor. He is jealous immediately if his colleague or if another soldier gets honored. He is immediately jealous. He feels, why can't I do that and get that reputation? So he wants to become famous. Okay, sudden and quick and quarrel, always looking for fight. He is very short tempered and he is quick to fight with anybody. Quarrel means he is quick to start the fight. Seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. Now seeking bubble reputation, he is looking for what? He is looking for becoming famous. Fame. He is looking for reputation, means good name and fame. What kind of reputation is it? Bubble reputation, like water bubble, soap bubble. Okay, it is very very temporary, mere seconds. For mere seconds the reputation is going to be like a bubble. Bubble stays only for mere seconds and then it bursts. Okay, so he is looking for a kind of reputation that only is very very temporary. Even he puts himself in danger in front of a cannon's mouth, means he is putting his life in danger for being a soldier, taking strange oaths. That is the next stage. The next stage we have, that is the fifth stage, is justice. And then the justice in fair round belly with good capon lied, means justice is the middle age, where in middle age he has let go and he has a big stomach, big paunch. How did he get that paunch? By eating food without control, by eating a fatty food without any control. Okay, with severe eyes. He is always serious. His eyes are always severe. That is what he is saying. Okay, so this justice is fat. He has let go of this of the life. He has now eaten a lot and he has a big paunch with severe serious eyes. And beard of formal cut. Beard of formal cut, actually here what it means is he can spend on the barber. He is not shaving himself. He can go and he can have pampered by the barber. He has enough money to spend on his looks. Okay, or he wants to take service of others. He is not ready to work on his own. So he has a lot of money to spend on himself. That is, he is comfortable, he is settled in life, and he has lot of money also with responsibility. Beard of formal cut doesn't only mean that he is having a nice stylish beard. It means that he can pay for the barber. That much money he has, luxurious money, full of wise saws and modern instances for anything in life. This justice, this middle-aged person, what he does, he always gives examples. Instances means examples. Wise saws means wise sayings. He always has sayings, this is the saying, you have to follow the life this way. Otherwise, he gives examples like, in this life, in so and so person it happened because this person did like that. So he is always coming up with examples, and he is always into sayings, good wise things he keeps on saying, but he himself doesn't follow. Okay, because you can see he has a big paunch, the big round belly. He is not following his own sayings, and so he plays his part. So this is a middle-aged person. This is how he plays his part. The sixth age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon. What is a pantaloon? Pantaloon is a full the abbreviated form, it is pants. Pants are nothing but pantaloon. Okay, slippered pantaloon. Slippered means the pants have become loose, they are slipping off his waist. That means he has lost the youthful strength. He has lost the body he had when he was youth. That means he has become softened, and the body has shrunk from the youth. The strength has gone off, and his body has become loose, and he has become lean, he has become thin, and all the clothes he has been wearing have become very loose on him. He is wearing spectacles on nose. That means he has become aged, and he needs the spectacles to read on the nose, and pouch on the side. Everything he carries in the pouch. His youthful hose means that tights. Nowadays girls are wearing that tights, right? In Shakespeare's time they used to wear the tight. Men used to wear those tights. The youthful hose, well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank. When he was youth, when he was strong, when he was in his youth, the hose which he was wearing was very tight and perfect fit for him. But now, because he has become old and lean, they have become very loose on him. Well saved means he has been saving, he has been using them very sparingly, very carefully. He has taken care of them. A world too wide means now they have become too wide, and it is very loose over him. Now the body of his has become very loose, and he has become lean, that is thin. That the youthful, when he was youth, when he was wearing those hose, they have become very loose. Now world too wide means they have become very loose for his shrunk shank. Shank means legs, knee to ankle, that part. So where it used to be tight, now it has become loose, and it looks very bad, not very perfect. And his big manly voice, and the voice, the boom voice, the which he had, it has lost that boomingness. That strength is lost, that power is lost in that voice, and it has again changed to the childish treble. Treble means there is a kind of shakiness to his voice. It has changed to a childish treble. It has changed to a voice that is not strong. It is like a child. Pipes and whistles in his sound. This is very interesting line. Pipes and whistles in his sound. Now, pipes and whistles in his sounds. This is a very interesting line. Why? Because when he is talking, when you have all the teeth in your mouth, then there is no space for the wind to escape from your mouth. Now when you are talking, the how your sound box works, the voice, how it is produced by the wind when it travels. Now when there are gaps in the teeth, what happens when you are talking, the empty what do you say, this the wind or the breeze comes out from that teeth which is missing, and you will feel that whistles when you are talking. It is not very clear. That is called as a pipes and whistles in his sound. I like this line a lot. Means it's, even though he is not saying the person is not having all the teeth, it's a very subtle way of telling. That poet is saying that this is the stage, that is at the end of the stage. Last scene of all. Now this is the last stage, seventh stage of all, that ends the strange eventful history. Eventful history, strange eventful history. Eventful means what? So many events happen in a person's life. Okay, from the time when he was born and the time when he dies, he has traveled to so many places, he has met so many people, and there have been many turns and twists in his life. Okay, so a full life has happened, and this life comes to an end. This strange life, every person will not have the same kind of a life. They have different lives. Okay, these strange eventful history. History, why is he saying history? Because it's a past. It is going to come to an end. How it is going to come to an end is a second childishness. Now this is very important. Childishness, second childishness means what? This old person now enters into again as a child. Now he loses all the control, like the child, how he does not have any control over the food or all the things. Same way the old person will lose his consciousness, he gets dementia, he forgets everything, and he becomes like a child, where you have to take care of him like a child. And near oblivion. Oblivion means unaware about his surroundings. He forgets about what is going on around him. He is not aware about anything. He has slipped out of his mind. Okay, sans teeth. Sans is losing. He lost the teeth. Sans teeth. Sans eyes. Vision is lost. Sans taste. He is not anymore interested in food, and the food has lost the taste. Sans everything. Everything has been lost. If you look at the meanings over here, without, the teeth are lost to him, eyes, vision is lost, taste is lost. So he becomes a second child. He becomes a child once again. He loses all the things which he has. He loses all the strength, and he changes to a child once more. This is called as a second childishness. So this is a poem. It's a beautiful poem, and I'll be doing in my next video the workshop. Please don't forget. I'll also be doing figures of speeches and everything in that workshop, because we have here figures of speech. If you see here this part, so I'm going to do all this. Please look forward to my workshop. I'll meet you in my next video discussing about the workshop of All the World's a Stage. I hope this is clear to you and you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye. See you soon.